My testimony, my story of faith is entitled Video, 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 Video. A Vision Birthed. Well, I moved to Texas and Expressions of Emmanuel, EOE, was birthed, was founded. And one of the goals, the first goal of EOE, was to do video. The second is O for outreach, and the third was W, writing project, and it still is. That was the vision, and that continues to be the vision. But when I first moved here, I knew that I really felt God's call and His burden to be involved in working with more Christian sign language videos, Bible lessons, and Christian songs. So, but the problem is I didn't have anyone to help me with that. So I began praying, and I asked a women's prayer and Bible study group to pray with me. So they prayed and earnestly sought the Lord. Oh Lord, help her find someone to help do videoing. Well, then I traveled 200 miles. I would research and find out about different agencies that worked with video and say, could you please help me? I have no money. Would you please help me? And I would show them some of the work that I'd already done with another organization. And they were really impressed, and they said, that'd be wonderful, but we just don't have the time or the money. We just can't. So finally I met one man. His name is Joe Polero. He has a business in Denison, Texas, called Radio Vision. And I met him. I knew he was a Christian, and I said, hey, can you help me? And he said, you know, I'm really interested in trying to help you, but you write out some of your dreams and bring me back more of your ideas. And so periodically during that 1 year, he and I met, and I would sit down and chat with him and give him the vision, and he was trying to find somebody who could help, and maybe he could be involved in helping. And he mentioned at the very beginning, he said, you know, my brother, Louis Polero, he's a great videographer. It'd be wonderful if he could help you. And I said, well, I have a vision to go to Hawaii and videotape many different Bible lessons and songs there. I said, oh, maybe your friend, your brother or somebody you know would help me to do that. I wouldn't have money to pay them, but they could get free food, and they could stay with us at the churches, on the floors, or wherever people have. But I could give them a free ticket. Whoever would go with me to video, I could give them a free airline ticket because I have frequent flyer miles, so I could buy them a ticket. He said, okay. Well, there continued to be conversation during the year. But then my prayer group continued to pray, and I remember one day it was really noisy. We had a sick daughter at home. We had the vacuum cleaner, the vacuum running, and it was just a busy day. And I picked up the phone, and I said, hello? I said, hello, this is Louis Polero. I said, oh, hi, Louis. His name sign is Louis for video, not because he's crazy, but because of video. Louis says, oh, hello, and we couldn't hear each other, and I said, oh, did Joe, your brother, have you call? He said, what? How do you know Joe? And so later on we discussed more and found out that really he had met a woman who was the leader of my Bible study group. And she had told him all about the mission work, Expressions of Emmanuel, needing help with videography. And so she had convinced him he needed to call me. So Louis called me. But it wasn't Louis calling me because his brother told him to call me. His brother didn't mention anything about me, or not much about me, to Louis. So we were just like, wow. through a totally different means, a different way, God helped me get in contact with Lewis. So then Lewis helped me to make a video I needed for a travel for a missions conference. And then he helped me make a video to show the mission house and the needs that it had for repairs. And then Lewis said, you know, I've helped to volunteer, but I really just can't do any more, but I can see your work is wonderful and you do an awesome job. But he said, I know someone who'll probably help you. His name is Steve Hamilton. Steve Hamilton. And he said, he lives now, he was working just a few months ago, not long ago, he was working at Radio Vision with my brother, but now he's moved home with his father to take care of his father, who is older, and he's taking care of him in Indiana. He says, you need to contact him. I said, okay. By that time, I made a good friendship with Lewis, and so he said, you contact Steve. And I said, okay. Well, one day had passed, and I hadn't had time to do it yet, taking care of my children, being a single mom and taking care of them and taking care of other mission work. And then Lewis calls and says, Vonda, did you contact Steve yet? And I said, no. He said, you contact Steve. So then I emailed to Steve, and then later we made a phone conversation, and he said, yes, I'd be happy to come to Texas and help you for 2 weeks, help to video Bible lessons and songs. I'll volunteer my time. If you can just help me get an airline ticket to come, then I will be willing to volunteer. So I thanked Steve, and he came, and it was amazing. We worked so hard during those 2 weeks, videoing. And then he went home to Indiana, and he edited the first song that we produced, which was called Eagles Wings. And I looked at it and I was like, that's what I was hoping to happen. We wanted to see God's beautiful nature be just displayed, and then have sign language expressed in passion to lead people to worship the Lord. And I saw it, and I was so inspired, and I was just in awe of his work, videoing and editing. And so we continued to discuss and communicate and made really good friends. And then he came to visit again, to help again. And by that time we realized, hey, you know, I began to think, he's really nice. I could like him. But my goal was to just have my brother visit and help me. Well, then he also helped our family. He set up a tent for me and my 2 girls, and he brought his own tent and set it up, and we went camping, and so we had good fellowship. And after that, on Easter, he asked me if I would marry him. And so I said yes. And so then, as we were planning, see, earlier that year, just as friends, he said, yeah, I'm willing to go and help you video in Hawaii. So he had already said yes, and I had used the frequent flyer miles to buy him, to reserve him a ticket. And he was willing to eat whatever we could get and to sleep wherever he could. Of course, we were not married, so of course he slept in his area, but the churches would plan that and have a different area for him. So then at Easter, when he asked me, will you marry me? And I said yes, then we thought, we're going to Hawaii. Maybe we can get married there. So we decided, yes, that's what we do. We'd go there and we'd find a serious minister, and we'd go ahead and get married there before we began 5 more weeks of videoing. So the first few days, went and talked with a wonderful Christian man. His name is Boo, who's a preacher, and it was so wonderful. Henrietta Luttrell and her daughter, Amy King, both of them and their families helped us to seek out and find that wonderful minister, Boo. And I'll tell you what, it was amazing. We said, we don't have a lot of money. We just want to pay for a preacher. We'll buy a few flowers. My sister, Berlinda, had made me some flowers, a beautiful bouquet. I have been able to get a dress, a beautiful dress for $75 used, and actually it was brand new, but it was on a major sale. And so we were ready for this wedding. But Boo said, no, we're going to do more than that. So all these different Christians in the area, they had the aloha spirit. We had a lady, Samantha, help interpret. They had a man who helped to cook a lot of beautiful Chinese, I believe it was Chinese food, and Asian food. They got tables, and they got beautiful white chairs and a canopy, and they put it on the beach. We went to a rural beach, and Pokai Bay. We bought our flowers from Chinatown at a cheaper price, and we bought shirts that matched and had brought the girls, both of my daughters, a little white dress too, and my son was there and my brother-in-law, and it was just a beautiful time. Brought my mom, and I just remember it was amazing. They got a little praise band. They played the ukulele. I mean, it was just amazing, and it was just beautiful, and it happened at sunset, and we only had to pay for a picnic permit, so it was $15. If we went to a hotel, just to stand there, it'd been like $2,500, but here at this rural beach, we were able to just pay for a permit and have a beautiful, beautiful wedding. Was amazing. And we told them, no, 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 we can't afford it. They said, no, 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 we want to give this to you. And we were blessed. It was such a blessing to have my family there. More importantly, it was so wonderful to know that God had led everything to come together for me to meet Steve, for him to help with video work, and for the two of us to be able to help raise our daughters and to be able to have such a beautiful celebration and wedding, to see the generosity of God, His people, the church around the world, was wonderful. Since that time, I've seen my husband just do awesome work, travel, carry bags, drive, help me in times of great sorrow and loss, work so hard videoing, and it's not an easy job, trying to chase, be on chase before the sun goes down so you can beautiful footage, trying to get just the perfect video shot, and having time constraints and weather problems and etc., and having to be patient with me. Wow, God blessed me with my husband, and I praise the Lord because He's developed such an awesome eye for seeing how to make video really visual for the deaf. So I thank the Lord for my husband, Stephen Hamilton. I thank the Lord that in His amazing, amazing ways, He's provided. So that vision that I had, I kept on saying for a few years, we do VOW, Video Outreach Writing Project. But for a few years, we were not only not making videos, we were planning them, but we weren't making them. But I knew that the Lord had led me to do that, and I knew that the Lord would open the doors, and He did, in such an awesome way. Stephen Hamilton, my husband, had worked at TV stations, he had worked at advertising agencies, he had a degree in videography, and he had always wanted to use his video work to serve the Lord. Before I met him, just a couple of months before I met him, he had went to Africa, to Sudan, to the country of Sudan, to help video and capture some wonderful mission work footage. But years before that, he had wanted to work using his video skills to serve the Lord, but it never worked out. But then finally, God his vision that was birthed in his heart and in my heart came together. So I praise the Lord that we're able to work and serve him with video. And it's only because of his hand giving the leadership and the provision we're able to do that. And I thank the Lord. Video. Praise the Lord. Because he causes visions to become reality. Praise his name. Trust him with your vision. Trust him with the vision that he gives to you. Trust him.